Hello everybody, my name is Richard, that's Tom, this is Terrifying Tom, and this week we are discussing the 1981 film, The Evil Dead. Hello and welcome back to Terrifying Tom. As I said, this time around we are watching The Evil Dead, a 1981 classic cult horror film. I am joined once again by Tom. How are you, Tom?
Yeah, good, thank you very much. Yeah,
So anyway, Tom, what did you know about The Evil Dead?
I knew it was a film.
Yeah.
Yep. Honestly, not that much. I had Evil Dead 2 on DVD. It's going back like probably 15 years ago now. Because I read like reviews and like, I'm trying to think of a movie magazine. Empire.
Okay. Yeah.
They were saying it was really good, so you check it. So I thought, fuck it, I've got to get the DVD. Shouldn't swear.
No, you can swear on this one, it's fine.
And, I thought it was pretty good. And I never really went and watched the first one or Army of Darkness after the second one.
So from what I've heard,
honestly, not a lot.
The second one is probably the best one in the series, from what I've heard and what I've read from a lot of people.
I mean, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I'll have to go back and watch it to compare it to this one.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense. I don't want to give away too much of how I felt about this film just yet.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's start getting into it. Yes, The Evil Dead, released in 1981 on the... released on the 16th of January 1983.
I've got 81 written down as well. But you say 83 now.
That's in the UK.
Oh, okay. Where it matters.
Yeah. So in the US, it was released in 1981. In the UK, many of us would probably know it as 1983 film. I personally thought it was a 1970s film, but that's just me.
I mean, it's close enough, isn't it? I mean,
decades don't really change in the first couple of years.
I mean, you look at the clothes they're wearing in this film,
very
and
70s,
the hair.
Yeah.
It's still very 70s aesthetic.
Yeah. Fashion and trends don't really change bang on midnight on, 31st of December 79, and then instantly we're in that's not how fashion and things work. But from what I've always saw, and I always thought it was a late 70s film, but anyway. Yes, The Evil Dead, in which 5 college students take time off to holiday in a remote cabin when they are unknowingly releasing an ancient evil. It stars Bruce Campbell, Ellen Sandweiss, and Richard DeManincor.
It stars Bruce Campbell.
It stars Bruce Campbell. What did I say?
Starring. Yeah, it stars Bruce Campbell.
Oh,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's pretty much just him, but yeah, it does have other people in it. And if I did pronounce any of your names wrong, I apologise.
And directed by?
Directed by Sam Raimi from Spider-Man fame for our generation, I imagine. But got his start in films in the horror industry. That was where he began kicking off his career, and there's a lot of influence in that in his Spider-Man films. Like the transformations, for instance, are quite
the little camera stuff you can see in the Spider-Man.
Specifically, Spider-Man 2 with the Doc Ock surgery scene when the tentacles are killing all of the.
I have to tell you word for it, because I haven't seen it for a long time. But...
So there's a scene where, after Doc Ock gets the thing fused to him, the surgeons are trying to remove it, and the arms come alive and start killing all the doctors and nurses without blood. I might add, like one of them gets slammed into a wall, like face first, and like enough to break the wall, but there's still no blood. It's quite a clean murder. But anyway, that's where Sam Raimi got his kickoff, and again, now part of the MCU again. But yeah, let's get into the film, shall we? So we kick off right away with the evil already being released. Really, it interchanges between this evil entity moving through the woods and the group of the guys driving in the car to go to the cabin.
Because they almost have an accident straight away.
Yeah, which is meant to be implied that the evil almost caused that accident.
All the people that were driving the car were infected by it or something.
Yeah.
There's a rather weird, like, camera shot of some woman just doing it. and it's really bad camera work. And, then that's it. Yeah. And then they swerve off the road and then they drive on to the cabin, don't they?
Yeah. One thing that I found quite interesting in this film is that you don't have the turn back now. Don't go up to them their cabin. People have never come back from there or something.
Yeah, it's not like Friday the 13th quite here, is it? But it's the same sort of premise, you know. I mean, I don't know if there were films before this where people go to a cabin or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know, but this was like an early 80s trope with Friday the 13th and this film. And then, you know, obviously in films later on, Cabin Fever, Cabin in the Woods, whatever, you know, Pimp My Cabin, you know.
What's he called? The Harbinger, isn't he? That's what the character's called. The Harbinger of Doom, you know.
Oh, yeah.
The character that everyone always ignores.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. You don't want to go down there roads.
You ever pull up to a petrol station and this crazy old guy comes out and says, "Don't go any further down the path." Go, "Thank you very much. I appreciate that." And take his advice and turn around and go back the way you came.
That's an owl!
In the dark!
You sure about that then?
Yes, I'm quite sure.
What about down the end of that road there? You been down there?
Just come from there, yes.
Well, that's no guarantee!
I suppose.
You want to watch where you're stepping round here, boy? You might fall down a hole. Where would you be if you fell down a hole?
Well, yeah.
What about the fog? Stuck in a hole! In the fog! Stuck in a hole! In the fog! In the middle of the night! With an owl! See? Stuck in a hole in the middle of the night! Stuck down a hole with an owl! On your own! You're on the wall! You're on the old wall! Stuck down a hole with an owl in the middle of the night! It could happen! Stuck down a hole on your own in the middle of the night! With an owl!
But so they cross this decrepit, rickety, falling apart wooden bridge. Like, I mean, there are plenty of signs that they shouldn't be going where they're going. But I mean,
if you saw a decrepit, rickety-looking bridge, would you drive over it?
I don't think I'd drive my heavy American 500-ton steel car across it. No, I don't.
No.
I mean, and it does break while they're on it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, bits of it start falling off.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely not. I mean, I'd get out and give it a look first and give it a few test jumps and things like that. And
fall to your death.
Yeah, and then I'd know not to drive my car across it.
You've learned your lesson. You're dead, but at least you learned.
Over it. Everyone else was safe.
But you saved everybody else's life.
Yeah, that's right. I'm the hero of this film. There's a question that I want to ask. I'm going to wait to ask it for a bit later, but yeah, that's. I'm pretty sure I asked you while we were watching the film this question, but we'll see. So they eventually arrive at the cabin, and you know the standard tropey, ominous cabin looks old and run down. It's all overgrown and vines everywhere, and it doesn't look very welcoming. And the swing seat out the front is banging ominously into the building, and you know the standard. If you saw this place, you'd be like, should we really stay here? It looks like the kind of place where people rape people.
More on that later.
And just as the guy goes to open the door, the seat stops.
It stops.
Dead.
Yeah.
Like,
it's obviously part of the house, isn't it? It's just a feature, isn't it?
Yeah. But, I mean, again... See, this is the other thing, though, is again, like, we're thinking about these as horror films. Like, in real life, like, our world, if you went to a cabin and it looked like that, and things were happening, like that swing just stops dead after being bang,
Yeah,
bang.
I'd be freaked out, yeah.
Would you genuinely be like,
yeah, but
I want to go home now?
But at the same time,
or-
I paid a lot of money to go to this
yeah,
cabin. So
that's all of our money is sunk in this cabin.
Exactly.
You know?
So, I don't want to waste my holiday.
We can't afford to move out, you know?
Yeah.
It was so cheap. Which they do say as well, by the way. He does say in the car while they're driving there, it was really cheap, this cabin.
Okay, well, if you go on Airbnb, you can get a cheap deal, right?
So yeah, okay, so I'm going to bring this up now then, because we're kind of on that area of anyway, and I said this to you during the film. Who owns this cabin? Who are they renting this cabin from?
Dunno.
Like, if you look at it, it's abandoned. It's basically just an abandoned, decrepit, rundown cabin. Like, who are they renting this cabin from? Who owns it?
I don't remember a conversation where they say that. I mean, I don't know how, we're talking early 80s here.
Yeah.
How you go about booking a cabin.
Yeah, so you either know someone who owns it,
yeah.
know someone who knows someone who owns it, or you go to a travel agent.
Is there a travel
right?
agent for a cabin?
Yeah, I mean, you can go on travel agent, like,
Yeah.
camping trips and stuff like that, can't you? But there's no internet.
No.
I mean, maybe the classifieds?
Possibly.
Like, there's just a random advert in a newspaper for, like,
possibly.
cheap holidays.
Cheap holiday, not in any
vacation.
way. Not in any way haunted cabin.
Yeah. Haunted? Who said haunted? Ignore that. Look over here. Look how cheap it is.
Perfectly acceptable bridge.
Yeah, with 0 fatalities. But yeah, so, I mean, that question is even more pertinent given what's coming up. But yeah, who did they rent this cabin from? But anyway, my point is that you would still go into the cabin, would you?
I mean, as I said, I spent money on this.
Yeah, 'cause I think I would as well.
I probably would.
I would try to convince myself.
Yeah.
It was just some weird physics thing that made it stop.
Yeah.
Banging and it's really remote. That's why it's really overgrown. You can't get heavy equipment up over that bridge,
Like, this is in my head a little bit.
So what do we see them do? They're dancing and grooving and stuff, aren't they? But
yeah, I mean, Sharon, she gets possessed pretty quickly. A hand gets possessed pretty quickly, and starts drawing the book.
Oh yeah, the evil spirit wind blows through, doesn't it? Yeah, and then she starts drawing the book, which is not in this film called the Necronomicon.
No, it's not.
Didn't know that. So I'm assuming that in the second one it's a different book. Or they changed the name because it sounds cooler.
Possible.
But
I can't remember the name of it in this book.
it's just some weird, like the Book of Baphomet or something like that. It's not
right. The devil.
Yeah, it's not called the Necronomicon, which I found really surprising. They find the basement first, right?
They find the basement first because Scotty goes down there for like.
Why does he go down there?
For a laugh.
No, but why did their attention get drawn to it? Did it bang? Did it?
Maybe, yeah.
Or something. I can't remember, but their attention gets drawn to it, and then they're all like, oh no, it flies open, doesn't it? That's right, the door just flies open on its own, and they're all like going round to it slowly and looking, and then Scotty's just like,
Scotty just goes down
Scotty too hot, he's like, I got this, I'm going down there, and then he goes down there, and then he's gone for a while.
And Ash goes in after him.
And then everyone's yelling after him, and he doesn't answer. And I thought that there was going to be a jump scare coming at this point. But there wasn't.
Sort of.
Ash goes down into the basement instead. And as he's going down, he looks up and sees a pipe dripping. Remember this. This is Chekhov's pipe. It'll be very important later. He carries on into the basement and sees that there's a door at the far end of the basement that goes into another section of the basement.
This never-ending basement.
Yeah, because the house is huge. It is a TARDIS, yeah. It's just a weird TARDIS where the basement's bigger than the house and the house is really long, and yeah, it's weird. And that's where Scotty scares him, right? Jumps out and, that's where you get the jump scare. It wasn't a very good jump scare, though, to be fair. I wasn't really. And they find some cool stuff in the basement. They find the book. They find a tape recorder. Was it a recorder or was it a,
Yeah,
it was. It was a reel-to-reel recorder, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a reel-to-reel tape recorder. And for anyone who is under the age of 30, ask your parents what that is. They take that back up into the main room and they start listening to the recordings on the tape.
Yep.
Which, as it happens, is a researcher / scientist / pseudoscientist / occultist. I don't know, but apparently he's been drawn to the area because his studies lead him to believe that there's some ancient mystical shit going on around this area that he lives in. That he's visiting. Sorry, he goes to he does an expedition there, basically, doesn't he? Because he's led to believe that there's some weird ancient bullshit going on in the region. And he's the one that's discovered the book. And as they're listening to what's going on, he starts the recording starts reading verses from the book, which he believes is an ancient occultist book that allows spells and incantations, and it's like, if you remember the film The Mummy, it's like the Book of the Dead.
Right. Okay.
You start reading from the Book of the Dead and it revives the ancient curse, basically.
Yes, so shit starts happening. A tree bursts through the window.
Yeah. Which is...
Cheryl /Sharon /Cheryl is like, please stop reading this. Please turn the tape off.
So, a few things I have to remark on this section here. First and foremost, if him reading aloud from the book on the recording wakens the evil, where was the evil to begin with that started chasing through the forest right at the beginning? Where did that come from?
Different kind of evil.
So there's multiple evils?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Second thing, if you're Sharon /Cheryl, and you see this book that looks exactly like the book that you draw when your hand was haunted, why would you not say something
Maybe
then?
She didn't remember that because she was possessed.
But she wasn't possessed. Her hand was possessed.
I don't remember. She didn't remember it.
And third and foremost, if after you start reading, it starts reading that noise and it says like this, leads to some weird shit in this area, and then a random storm rolls in and a tree smashes through your window, would you not then GTFO?
Yeah, at this point you'd be like, I don't know about this. Yeah. But they still stay there, even though there's a tree that's just broken through their window. And then they just take the tree out and the tree branch out and they pull the blind or something. Don't they?
He just shuts the curtains or the shutters or something. He's just like, it'll do. All of our money's sunk into this place. We can't afford to go anywhere else.
This is a different time. This is like over 40 years ago now. People were made of stone and stuff back then. You know, a tree breaks through your window. You're not just going to fuck off and leave.
It's not the fact that the tree broke through the window. It's the fact that A, this storm came out of nowhere, and B, just as this guy finishes reading this sentence, after he says there's some weird shit going on in the area, a tree falls through the window. That's pretty ominous timing.
I mean, it's just a coincidence, isn't it, really? I mean
I would probably think the same thing as well, that it's just a coincidence. Yeah, you're right.
I'm joking, but
I probably would, because I don't believe in all of this crap. But then I would like to think I'd be a bit smarter in this situation. I don't know. But yeah, they just decide, you know what? Everything's good. Don't worry about it. Close the curtains.
And they head off to...
And they all head off to... Yeah. What happens after that? Oh, that's when Sharon /Cheryl, who's brushing her hair, there's a bang on her window or something, right?
Yeah, she hears noises. Yeah. And for some reason decides to
go
wander outside in this dark
so it's...
wood.
The storm has stopped.
And they've...
for now.
Yeah.
But it's still pitch black at night. And she decides to go out without shoes on into the woods to follow someone because she's sure she heard someone outside.
Yeah, because that's what a rational person would do if they heard a noise coming up from outside.
Hence why I say that she's the rational, non-rational person in this film. Because she does stupid shit like this, where she just wanders off into the woods on her own to do, to chase some phantom person, with no shoes on.
Yeah. Would anybody be doing this?
In an area you don't know.
In an area you don't know.
As well, yeah. If it was my back garden, then maybe, but not in a fucking middle of nowhere where I don't know where the hell I'm going. And she wanders for far as well. She doesn't, it's not just outside the door, who's out there? It's she goes for a trek. And, then she gets molested by trees.
Yep. That's a nicer way to put it. I put the tree rapes her.
Yeah.
Pretty much rapes her. So she gets attacked by the tree, and the tree just basically...
So the vines trip her up, then pin her to the floor.
She gets held down.
By her arms and her leg, and she gets starfished.
There's one really,
big,
funny...
thick branch.
Funny shot of her legs, and then you see, one of the branches just, slivering over her leg, and then under her dress, and you just see one big branch, just go... I don't know how many films you see where someone gets raped by a tree, but not many.
No,
I don't think it's a particular genre of film that you see a lot.
I mean, there are probably parts of the internet where it is a genre of film, I imagine.
Yeah,
but
true, yeah. There's sick people out there. I thought there's nothing wrong with that, but yeah.
Hey, as long as it's between a consenting tree and a consenting woman.
True, but it's not consensual in this film.
No, it is not
This
consensual.
is rape.
No, yeah.
If you like going to the woods and hugging trees, that's fine.
Also, can I just say ouch as well, right?
Well, it's got to hurt. Yeah,
Ow.
Of course.
I mean, the velocity it goes in at.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I'd say is that she doesn't really sell it. I mean...
She gives a bit of a, ah!
Yeah, but then it's more like, I want to get out of here, blah, blah, blah. She never says, by the way, the tree raped me.
Yeah.
At any point during the film.
Yeah. So,
and I'm in a lot of pain here.
And probably bleeding. I imagine there'd be some bleeding.
I imagine so.
Because, I mean, if there's one thing that you don't really equate with trees, it's, soft and cuddly, That's not really, adjectives that I would use to describe bark on a tree, No one's ever gone, can you hit me with that really soft branch?
Yeah, true that, yeah.
So, and then she manages to break free, and then she sprints back to the cabin for a bloody long time. So that's why that she went for a hike, she manages to get back.
She struggles to get back in the cabin.
Yeah.
She's reaching for the keys.
Yeah. The keys are hidden on top of the door frame, aren't they?
We've got another trope here where there's the key has 10 keys on it or whatever, 100 keys.
And you fumble around.
Oh, which one is it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But she managed to get out the house all right earlier.
Yeah,
now she can't get back in.
I don't know why she didn't just go back in the door that she came out of.
Yeah, and she's so discombobulated after being raped by a tree that she's just not thinking straight.
Happened to be right next to her room as well. I mean, I guess if I just got raped by a tree, my mind might not be working very well either.
Yeah.
But anyway, Ash manages to open the door just in time before the ghost wind gets back to her again, and she pulls her in, and she's sobbing and crying and tears. Yeah. And says she wants to leave, she wants to get out of it. Doesn't tell him why, like Tom said. Just, I want to leave. You know,
I mean, if I said I want to leave Richard, a tree raped me, he'd be like, "What? What are you talking about?"
I would, but I would also be. I would also not be like Scotty Too Hotty and try to talk you into staying.
Right.
Like, come on, Tom, you're ruining everyone's holiday.
But,
all of our money's sunk in this house. We can't afford to leave.
But this dude just wants to get his you know.
I get it, and teenage or young men think with their dicks rather than
that's
anything
all he's
else.
thinking about in this movie.
But I also understand the fact that if someone, especially if a woman, is breaking down in hysterics, do you know what that doesn't do to other women? Turn them on. Like, you know.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
I mean, if I'm like, oh, fuck this bitch, she's just being a crybaby. Come on, baby, let's go back to bed. You're not going to be like, yeah, all right. So anyway, they eventually gets the car going, and he starts making his way out. So you think, oh, okay, well, you know, what's going to happen now? And they're driving down the road, and then
they stop.
Why are you stopping?
Wait here a minute.
Do you see something? Where are you going? Ashley? Ashley?
Ash just randomly stops.
Yep, and then he randomly gets out of the car.
Tells her to wait there.
That his hysterical sister's in. And then just wanders off without saying anything.
Yep.
Another horror trope we have here.
Yep.
Just wanders off into the dark. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yep, leaving this woman that's in hysterics
Where
by
are you
herself.
going?
Doesn't say
Ash!
anything. Doesn't say anything.
Walks
Just
off.
Walks off.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, for God.
He just needs some personal space.
Yeah, you're just being a bit too
Away
much
from
for
this
me
crazy
right
woman.
now, alright? I need you to calm down.
Yeah.
I need to get some air.
Sisters, am I right?
Right, oh, God, who'd have them? She gets out of the car and starts wandering out into the darkness as well.
Yeah.
And then she comes across the bridge. Which is destroyed.
No longer a bridge.
Yeah, it is not there. It has been destroyed. It is no longer functioning. It wasn't great in the first place, but you're definitely not getting a car over it anymore.
Who would have thought it?
And then Ash comes out from nowhere and jump scares her. Where the fuck did he go? Like, she walked straight to the bridge. Why wasn't he already there waiting at the bridge if he saw?
He heard something calling him.
He just fucking disappears. He just like... So I get out of the car and go. She gets out of the car and walks straight off to the bridge. Your assumption is that he saw that the bridge was out, hence why he stopped to go and check it out. Why wasn't he already there waiting at the bridge like, damn, what the fuck happened here? But no, he just randomly comes up behind her like, what happened? You know, just for the random jump scare, you know.
Yeah, pretty much.
But where the fuck did he go? That's what I want to know. That's my question. Anyway.
I'm guessing he heard something calling him. But again, why wouldn't you have told your sister where you're going instead of just walking off?
Yeah. So they managed to overpower her
and
and get her into the basement.
Tow her into the basement, and we get some rather awful-looking shots of them pushing her into the basement, and there's a dummy shot, like doing this. I think for podcast listeners, the dummy's just trying to get out of the basement, and it's clear.
It's very clearly,
It's very clearly a dummy
Yeah.
of Cheryl / Sharon, and not actually her. Yeah.
The visual effects in this film.
Hey, it's early 80s, but they overpower her and they lock her in the basement.
Also, I'd talk about the budget a little bit later on as well. But yeah.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, they lock her in the basement, which just so happens to have all of these hooks and all of these chains and padlocks, almost as if this basement was designed to be locked. This trapdoor had already been used for said purpose already.
But it's good that she has enough room to breathe.
Yeah.
Out of the trapdoor. She's not completely.
I mean, I don't think that basement would be airtight anyway. It doesn't look very airtight. There's probably. It looked like there was another window.
She has enough room to like.
Yeah, she can push it up and like look through
and talk
and taunt yeah. We get a few shots
friends.
from her POV a few times as well. You know, while she's looking like that from out underneath the basement. They take Linda. Was it her that got stabbed?
Yeah, Linda.
Yeah. We take her to her room and she's sleeping peacefully as Ash watches over her. How she's fallen asleep, I don't know.
Well, she's in so much pain, yeah. I don't know.
They must have pumped her full of something to get her out. I mean, I imagine being stabbed through the Achilles is quite painful. It's pretty painful just when they, tear. Let alone being stabbed through them. But yeah, she's sleeping soundly. Oh, bless. But her ankle's all wrapped up and you see the damage done to it, the blood seeping through the bandages, and Ash is looking at her like, what are we going to do? Oh my god. And they go back into the main room where Scotty Too Hotty is. They're having a bit of a conversation, Scotty and Ash, right? Because is it then that Scotty's girl
gets possessed
and she comes into the room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And she starts attacking them as well. And this is a much more violent scene. This is much more aggressive. There's bodies being thrown about all over the place, bookshelves smashed and things like that. And
I will say that the zombie Shelley looks very disgusting.
Yeah.
And yeah, they do a really good job with this one.
Thank you. I don't know what I would have done if I had remained on those hot coals, burning my pretty flesh. You have pretty skin. Give it to
her. She's basically getting the better of them.
She gets stabbed with a sword, and then by Scotty, and then eventually
he's telling Ash to kill her first, right? He's like, kill her, what are you aiming for? Kill her. He went to like murder really quickly, like kill her, kill the bitch.
To be fair to them,
they locked Sharon in the basement, but this bitch, kill her. Kill the bitch! Like, he went to murder her.
And he gets an axe and chops her into pieces.
Just basically brutalises her on the floor, right? And you can hear the squelching and the axe hitting the floor, and like you get an Ash's point of view, and he's like, oh god!
Yeah, so to be fair to them, they take action pretty quickly to this.
Yeah, but like the escalation is huge.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like he was trying to bang this girl earlier, now he's like, kill the bitch.
And now they wrap her up in a blanket or whatever, duvet or whatever.
Bury her outside.
They bury her outside, yeah.
Yeah. And they put a little crucifix on the grave and
everything.
And yeah, it's like they proper thought this out and everything. Was it before she attacked that we heard more of the recordings from the occult guy? Was it before she attacked or was it after she attacked? Because I know that Ash is listening to the rest of the tape.
I mean, possibly before. That would make sense as to why Shelley gets possessed. I don't remember. Did she get attacked by...
I don't remember her getting attacked.
Sharon, possibly.
But anyway, so I know that when he's listening to the rest of the tape, the guy's explaining that something's happening to his wife and that his wife has been taken over, and that's when he said, I've had to lock her in the basement. Hence why the hooks and the chains and the padlocks were there, because the same thing has happened previously with this other guy. And he says that it's from reading the words from the book. The book has the power. The book has brought the evil into the world. Ash was definitely listening to that at one point. I don't remember whether it was before the Shelley attacked or after Shelley attacked. I can't remember when, but that definitely does happen. So he knows that the book has something to do with it now. Yeah, and then that's when Linda is just sitting in the doorway, isn't she? Yeah. She's possessed. She's gone. Her eyes, and she's like got this really big grin on her face, and she's like, and Sharon is taunting him from the basement, and she's taunting him from the...
almost like a childish, like, possession, would you say?
Yeah.
Kind of a big white eyes and a...
yeah, massive grin. And she's just sitting cross-legged in the doorway, isn't she? Like a little kid, yeah. And then Linda, so that's Linda, and then Sharon's tormenting him from the basement, and he's like losing his mind a little bit.
And then there's a scene where Sharon and Linda basically trick him into thinking they've gone normal.
Yeah.
Because he starts hugging her and telling her everything's going to be alright, and then he hears Cheryl from the basement saying, "Everything's fine now, Ash. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm all fine. I can come out now." And obviously this is a trap. I'm assuming that they're trying to get into his head.
Yeah.
But at the same time, wouldn't they have at least managed to get her out of the basement before they pull the... Actually, I'm still possessed.
You would have thought so. I mean, they're clearly not very smart, these demons, are they? You know, because, you would have thought, like, oh, let's get out first, and then we can do a 2v1.
Yeah, but he gets attacked by Sharon before she even gets out of the basement.
Yeah, that's right. But the other thing as well is, in this scene, before that bit happens, he's very comfortable turning his back on Linda, who's sitting in the doorway, before all of this bit happens. Because I remember saying to you, he's very calm. He keeps turning his back on her to, like, check on Scotty or talk to Sharon or something like that, or check on Sharon in the basement, like, looking... he keeps turning his back.
I'm assuming because, that she's his girlfriend. Is that the right terminology? Yeah. But, and B, she doesn't particularly seem like overly violent straight away.
But
then the other two have.
What's his face was Scotty Too Hot's girlfriend. So, and she tried to kill him. And B, all three of the women have gone nuts now, by the way.
Yeah.
So...
Bitches be crazy.
Bitches be crazy, right? I think that this film is a euphemism for menstrual problems.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like any of the two men get
possessed. No, none of the men go, no. So far, up to this point, all we know is that bitches be crazy. And I think it is to do with their periods.
Do you think this is Sam Raimi projecting something?
Yeah, I think Sam Raimi's... like at this point, I think his girlfriend kept getting mad at him, every 28 days. And he was just like, I've had enough of this. And he couldn't take it anymore. And he had to put it out on film. And this is how he experienced it,
Possibly. We'll apologise to Sam Raimi if that's not the case.
Yeah, let us know, Sam, if that's not... Mr. Raimi, sorry, I'm not... We're
not on first name terms.
We're not on first name terms.
Okay,
no.
If you could let us know.
A little bit of respect. Mr. Raimi, if you can let us know if this film was a metaphor for your abusive relationship, we'd appreciate that.
Yes, thank you.
How does he kill Linda again? I can't remember. Kill Linda.
So, I've written down here, Linda somehow hotter as a demon? than she was as a normal person. Well, it's just me looking into this too much.
I think that we've learnt a little bit about you today, Tom. But okay,
I mean, I personally think they were pretty unremarkable, all three of them. But, that's just my opinion.
I mean, the best looking person in this film is Bruce Campbell.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. That guy's a stud, he looks
Totally.
he looks great in this film. And even now, he still looks great, to be honest with you. I still do.
So to answer your question, Ash stabs her.
Right, okay.
And then he I can't remember what room, he goes into a room with her and then goes to get the chainsaw out.
He takes her to the shed outside.
The shed, right.
He takes her to the shed outside because he heard on the recording that dismemberment was the only way to stop them, and he saw Scotty dismember what's the mature call it? Yeah. And she didn't come back. No. So that's why he went to go get the chainsaw, which is,
a
famous.
motherfucking chainsaw.
Yeah. Skin your ass raw.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember the next
It's
line.
one of those days.
Yeah. But yeah, the chainsaw is pretty famous throughout the whole Evil Dead series. Yeah.
I mean, he goes to get the chainsaw working and cut her up, but he then starts seeing.
Can't do it.
This girl is her girlfriend. The necklace, I think, comes
Yeah.
into play here.
Yeah.
He sees the necklace and, starts reminiscing probably about the good times they had together,
So he
And he just can't
decides, I'm just going to bury her instead. I don't have it in me to chop up my girlfriend. I'm not psycho like Scott is. So he goes to bury her. He takes her to the same place where they just buried, who'd-you-call-it. And,
he buries her.
you know that this is a thing on the show,
Linda,
right? I always
so.
get the names wrong.
It's
a thing.
Yeah.
He goes to bury her, and then this is where it comes back to the whole scene with the eyes again, where now she's pretending to be dead, and he looks at her, and she quickly shuts her eyes.
Right,
the roles reversed.
Plays back, yeah.
Yeah, hence why I'm saying Sam Raimi always pays off on something, whether he needed to or not is one thing, but it also doesn't go anywhere. Because he pulls her into the grave without any...
I think it's just paying off what we saw earlier. Right?
I get it, but I thought it was going to lead up to a point where when he goes to pick her up to put her in the grave, she comes back to life.
I think it's just to tell the viewer that she's still alive.
Yeah.
And obviously you said that to kill them you have to
dismember them, yeah.
By chopping the head off. Well, that's Shaun of the Dead, isn't it?
Yeah.
So...
I'm guessing moving the brain.
Yeah, but chopping them up basically is the way to kill them, and he didn't do that. So
no,
she's still alive.
Yeah, but
that's what they're basically telling us. And even though that he's put her in the grave, I think the audience are like, "Well, that's not the last we've seen of her, is it?"
Sequel.
This is the start. Well, we've seen hints of it before, but this is the start when Ash starts to go a little bit cuckoo.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Because he goes back to the house, and I think he's still searching for Cheryl, because she's disappeared, and there's blood seeping everywhere.
Yeah, the walls are bleeding and stuff, isn't it? Yeah.
The light bulbs,
is this where we get This is where we get the dripping pipe again, right?
Yeah.
Where he goes back into the basement, looks up at the pipe again, it's dripping blood, and then it snaps and pours blood all over him again, or something, right? Or...
Yeah. So. Yeah, this is basically, I think, the way of telling us that he's starting to become overcome by this entity, but not enough that he's completely overcome, because he still has,
So from what I take it, the entity or the evil or whatever it is, what likes to keep one person alive to torment, because that's what it did with the other guy. It got his wife, but it didn't get him because it wanted to torment him, and it wants to it kind of, it feeds off of your fear kind of thing, like an It kind of situation, it enjoys watching you
maybe I can
suffer.
I can get that, because obviously as we know, like Bruce Campbell continues on to the next movie after this and the one after
Yeah.
that, so he's kept
So
relatively sane.
because you would say, well, why didn't it take them all out? But I think it's like, well, if it possesses all of them, then it's got no one left to do anything to,
Yeah,
you know?
well, unless, anyone else wants to go back into the cabin
Well, we'll
for a holiday.
get to that in a minute.
But yeah, this is the part now where Scotty
comes back.
comes back, and he is possessed.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him for a while, but he pops up and his eyes are all like...
So now we know it's not just the women.
Not just the women.
It's not just the women.
It's
The men
the
can get
men
affected
can-
as well.
They do indeed. And he attacks Ash, and Ash... There's a rather nice shot of Ash sticking his thumbs into Scotty's eyes, and obviously the blood seeps out, and it's disgusting and horrible.
A move that will be used a couple more times in films as well. Eye gouges
Eye gouging,
in films
is
is
pretty effective, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, not. I mean, this is a demon, so it's still not completely effective.
Seems to feel pain though.
Yeah, I think these entities feel pain, don't they?
Yeah.
But they still. It takes a lot to kill
It
them
can
off.
still keep going.
Yeah. And
That's when Cheryl comes back and starts
yeah,
attacking
pretty much.
too,
So
right?
Ash gets bit by Scotty, and then Cheryl. Basically, they do a double team on him.
Yeah, they start
They
tag
get him
teaming,
down on the floor. Cheryl grabs some sort of stick. Is a pipe or something, and she's whacking Bruce Campbell with it,
Mhm.
Ash with it. Why, I do not know, because we've established that they're pretty handful of weapons anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
Again, suffering. I think that
Yeah.
they just enjoy causing suffering, don't they?
yeah, oh, that's what happens. He's on the floor, and he's reaching out for the book.
The non-Necronomicon.
Yeah, he's reaching out for the book.
Yeah.
And he's trying to... He's got the necklace, and he's trying to use the necklace to get the book.
Oh, that's it, yeah. Because that's it. The book has fallen next to the fire.
Yeah, so that's why he's on the floor. Yeah, the book is near the fire.
And the book caught fire a little bit,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they both of them felt pain.
And he's got...
And so he now he's gone,
While
yeah.
this is going on, Cheryl's
She's beating
whacking him in the back.
And
with the-
Scott's holding his legs, right,
Yeah,
trying to crawl up
trying
him
to-
or
trying to
something.
stop him
or-
from getting the book.
Yeah, and he's trying to get the book with the necklace. That's right.
And
Yeah.
eventually he does get the book, chucks it into the fire, and then you see...
Some fantastic special effects.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh. Chef's kiss
You
special
see
effects.
some disgusting / pretty good special effects of Cheryl and Scotty, Too Hottie.
So, if you've ever
dying.
seen Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer video,
Oh, that's a good comparison, yes.
mix that with an old BBC One kids show called Trapdoor.
Oh.
Mix those two things together, and this is basically what you have.
Yeah, I don't know, what's the best way to describe these effects that they use to see them, basically their bodies disintegrating? It's rather disgusting and horrible.
It's definitely
And it goes on for a while.
it's definitely plasticine,
yeah.
and it's definitely stop motion, and that's why I'm saying
Wallace
that-
and Gromit.
Yeah, but Wallace and Gromit meets Saw.
Yeah. I do like the effects.
A
lot of the effects in this film
they're
I really like.
awful, but they're great.
Yeah.
Because you're like, wow, oh yeah, that's really gross. Like, you really buy it.
Yeah, but that's what you want from a horror movie. You want you will be grossed out
To
by
be
shit.
grossed by it, yeah. I mean,
of course you do.
they're terrible, but they work perfectly.
Yeah.
Because it gives you that visceral kind of feeling. And that's exactly what he's going for in this scene. So it's perfect.
Like,
Whoever thought of doing it like this, fantastic. Great decision. That was brilliant.
yeah. So they get put in a vegetative state or something like that. I don't know what the word is for that.
They start
Their
dissolving.
their bodies dissolve when they wither away, and
Yeah.
they're left
And then
with
the
basically
book
just skeletons.
burns and withers away, and
Yeah.
the book's writhing in pain, like, because it's made out of like human skin and like evil. You know that ingredient, evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. but again, it's not the Necronomicon. So there's two of these things. Fair enough.
As we'll see later on.
Yeah.
And that's basically the
And
end.
then he gets up, worse for wear, covered in blood.
Covered in blood, yeah.
Looking a little bit
The
dishevelled.
sun has risen.
He stumbles outside, and then I'm guessing just starts to make his way back down the hill.
Well, he tries to, but unfortunately, we get more entities.
Oh, the
Or,
ghost wind.
The fast camera shots that Sam Raimi's known for, is it just like
Ghost wind.
bursting through the back of the house,
Yeah.
and then bursting through the front of the house, and then you see Ash turn around.
Ah!
The camera goes up his
Yeah.
nose hole or whatever.
Nostril, you mean?
Nostrils, yeah, and basically you're led to believe at the end of this film he's been attacked by this entity,
Yeah.
and he hasn't completely killed it off.
No.
And that's your cliffhanger for Evil Dead 2,
Yes.
if Evil Dead 2 followed on from this one. If we ever get into Evil Dead 2. Well,
So again, just going to rewind this back. So now we have a body buried in a clear grave that's got a crucifix and everything.
two of them.
Well, no, one buried body, one other grave.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's two graves, one body, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that body melted when we threw the...
Well, we don't know. We didn't say that, did we?
But
So,
anyway, this
maybe.
place is a mess. It is a crime scene, for sure, 100%. So again, who owns this cabin?
That's a mystery, yeah.
Who owns this cabin? Who are they renting it from? Because this also happened with the other guy. He didn't melt his wife. So someone came and cleaned up the bodies from that guy, but they left all of his recordings and everything.
So, I mean, there's obviously we've got Evil Dead 2, you've got Army of Darkness, you've got the remake.
And you had the new one came out,
The new one just came out.
Well, it didn't just come out. It
Oh,
came a long time ago,
recently, right?
and that's what this film. This was originally supposed to be in line with that one.
Okay. And we have the TV series, right?
And the TV, the TV series is more of a comedy kind of attempt.
That's what the second one is.
Ash versus the Evil Dead is the TV series, isn't it? Yeah.
So I don't know if within the universe of Evil Dead you get some sort of explanation as to why.
Never say it in the. They go back to the
Why?
cabin in the
Or
TV
who
show.
Led them to the cabin.
They go back to the cabin again in the TV show, and it's still there. So, but who are they renting it from? The point is to see
Evil Dead fans, maybe let us know.
Yeah, if anyone knows more about the universe and how it all connects together, then just. I mean, I'm guessing they're going to go with the cop out of evil cabin is owned by evil entity or something, or supernaturally manages to get rented out to people. You know,
maybe that was all in the advert, but they just saw the price and thought, "Well, let's do it." It's cheap.
Supernatural entity requires victims for sacrificial purposes. $25 per night. Inquire with him.
Yeah.
Holy shit, what a price! I don't know, but yeah, just like there are bodies everywhere, and there's 2 clear graves. So
Dead bodies everywhere.
and who's repairing the bridge
Don't know.
to get the next people up?
I don't know. But
So many questions.
Well, maybe the evil entity rebuilds the bridge.
Rebuilds the bridge.
I mean, that makes sense, though, right? Because
Cuts down.
how?
I mean, it controls the trees, so you don't even have to cut them down. You can just make them fall and split themselves.
Yeah, I mean, joking aside, I'm guessing that probably happens, or somebody just rebuilds it.
There's an evil caretaker.
It just gets rebuilt.
Like one of Satan's minions comes up and he's like, I'm always the one having to rebuild this bloody bridge.
This isn't very evil. This is not what I signed up for. Building a bridge.
Yeah. I want to be the guy doing the tormenting. Oh,
Yeah.
God. Not the guy repairing it afterwards. Ugh. Getting on his hands and knees, scrubbing the blood out of the floor. This is what I signed up for. I left heaven for this shit. I don't know. Anyway, Tom,
Yes.
what did you make of the film then?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah?
I enjoyed the film. Obviously, it's very much of its time.
Mm-hmm.
It's early 80s. It's very low budget. I'm sure you'll get into that.
Yeah.
Some of it looks like very low budget, but as a film, as a whole, it's enjoyable and there's a lot of good effects in it. So yeah, thumbs up.
It's stupid, dumb, campy slasher fun, isn't it? That's it is very dated. You can tell, not just from the look of it, but the style of the film as well. It's not the random. It doesn't rely on random jump scares. I mean, there are jump scares in it, but it's not
a lot of them.
It's not all of the. It's not the only thing it's relying on. It's not over the top gore. You know, there is violence in it and everything, but you don't really see a lot of it. You know, it's there are hints of it and stuff like that. But yeah, it's very much of its time. But yeah, dumb, stupid, campy fun. You know, I liked it too. I thought it was. I think it's a good film. But I do believe that I think the second one I've heard is better than the first one. Let's get into some statistics. So, how much do you think this film cost?
I mean, adjusted for inflation, I don't know.
No, not adjusted. Just
couple of bucks.
yeah, $5.
Yeah. Packet of crisps. No. Go on.
It had a budget of $350,000.
I thought you were going to say $350, but $350,000. I mean, obviously that sounds like a lot of money to me. Cause I don't know.
I think a lot of that is probably production costs, though, because I don't imagine the actors that they've hired are asking for huge salaries.
All unknowns, right? So
yeah, the visual effects aren't super up there, so I imagine that like a lot of that is probably mainly like renting of like location and like equipment. Probably more than anything,
yeah,
I imagine.
Obviously the effects. Yeah.
How much do you think it made?
$70 billion. No, I don't think that made that much. I'm gonna say not a lot of millions.
No,
Maybe I'm wrong.
but it definitely did justify having a sequel. It made just under $2.9 million worldwide.
Okay, so that doesn't sound like a lot of money compared to what a lot of horror movies would make.
But
Obviously,
on the ratio,
considering 350,000 to
that's the thing. Yeah,
is
with unknowns in it as well. I mean, it doesn't sound like a hell of a lot of money, but if you spent 350,000 and got 2.9 million back, you'd be happy with that investment.
Yeah, of course.
Which is why you'd go and make a second one, probably. So, okay, before we get into anything else, any changes that you would have made to this film, Tom?
Changes. Bigger budget, more CGI. Yeah, make it look as unconvincing as possible.
In 1981, yeah.
Better effects, characters that don't look like dummies when they're being attacked. I mean, you got a few like really stupid horror tropes that are in there.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think probably in the early 80s you could get away with that a little bit more than you could now. People walking off into the woods with no explanation.
Yeah.
A bridge that...
I mean, you say
apart.
that you could get away with that more than you do now, but there are films that still do stuff like this. Like,
Of
why
course.
are they acting like... Why would they do this?
It's
This makes no sense.
Because not every horror film watcher thinks like we do.
Yeah, true.
Plus, the whole point when you watch these movies, if you get invested in them, and you're like, don't do that, don't go out there, you're invested in the film.
Yeah, I guess. I wouldn't necessarily call it investment on my behalf, though. I'd say it's more questioning, like, are you actually a real person?
Yeah.
But
I mean, Cheryl, like, walking out into the woods, Sharon, whatever her name is, walking out into the woods, like, just defies belief, to be honest. I don't think a normal, regular person would be doing that.
especially not the distance she went, no. Like I said, just outside the door, totally get that. 100% makes sense. But, like, wandering off on basically what was like a 4-hour hike, that makes no sense. But, yeah, I mean, that was very much one of those, I need to get someone into a situation in order for the film to happen kind of thing. So, but,
I mean, I don't think there's a lot of change about this, to be honest.
what would you give this film, do you reckon, Tom?
I gave it 2 thumbs up earlier.
2 thumbs up out of a scale of 2 thumbs. Is that?
Yeah.
So,
I could cry a lot of fun with you. Really.
1.5. 1 thumb down, 1 thumb up, 1 thumb down, 2 thumbs down.
One
what's
thumb,
slightly higher than that. What's the scale? Tell me what the scale is.
So I'm thinking here. I don't think it's quite good enough to make 8.
Okay.
So I'm thinking it's probably around 7.5.
Ooh, yes. So, with a score of 7.4, it is ranked 37th on the IMDb all-time horror movie list.
Okay. Acceptable.
It has a Metascore of 71, 85% critic score, and an 84% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on. No, go on.
I mean, it's a fun enough film, but I don't think it's like top tier classic or anything.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a film you could throw on a bit. Oh, this is fun.
I think it's like, I think that once you've watched it, you could watch it again in like 6, 7, 8 months' time and be like, I just had just as much fun as I did the first time watching it.
Yeah. I mean, if you have somebody around and you want to show them, a horror movie that's
or like
funny,
one of those films that you watch every Halloween or something like that. One of those stupid, we're having a film night on Halloween, come round, this is going to be in the rotation.
Yeah.
This, The Thing, Halloween, like they're all going to be on your list, I reckon. I'd be quite happy to have this on that. But this will show you how long I've been planning this episode for. All of these stats and scores
been a long time.
Are as of the 4th of May, 2023.
Okay.
That is how long we have been planning to do this episode for. It kept getting pushed off because of other things. Other films came out that we wanted to do. The Halloween special with the Exorcist film that came out.
Yeah, and You Wake Me Up, Believer.
Yeah, that was it, yeah. Trips away, people have been on holidays, illnesses. It's been a long time. This film originally this episode did originally want to come out when the new Evil Dead Rising film was coming out, which was around April of last year.
I didn't see it, but if someone wants to let us know if it was any good or not.
This was to coincide with the DVD release of that film.
People still buy DVDs, Richard?
Or streaming release, I guess.
That's more accurate.
Yeah. That was supposed to coincide with that, but it didn't quite happen. But it is now going to kick off a new series, little mini series on this podcast, and it is going to be cabin films. So this was the first of our cabin films.
So I talked about a few cabin films earlier in this podcast.
Yeah. So the next films coming up will involve a cabin of some kind.
Pimp My Cabin. Yeah?
Pimp My Cabin is going to be next up on the chopping block. Yeah, that exhibit horror film. Dog, we in this cabin and he's trying to kill me and shit. That's my exhibit impression. I hope that you appreciate it.
The cabin verse, yeah.
Yeah, the cabin verse. I like that. Yeah, the CBU. Yeah, I just thought, because there are a lot of films out there with cabins.
They are indeed.
In them.
It's a very famous horror trope.
Interesting to discuss
I'm very interested to see what these other cabin films are.
So yeah,
I could take a guess, but
I mean, yeah, it's pretty much the ones that you're thinking of, I imagine. But there might be a couple of little surprises in there for you. But yeah, that's going to be coming up on this show next. The cabin verse will be our next few episodes. So I guess there's just one last question to ask you then, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Tom, did this film terrify you?
Yeah, in spots, yes, but generally no.
Yeah.
No. I didn't go to bed crying or anything like that, or checking the closet. So,
No. Not checking for any weird books that have showed up in your house.
Yeah, I threw all my books out.
I burnt them all.
Burn them all. Yeah, burnt all my books that I own. Yeah,
So
just in case.
I think the one thing we can learn from this film is that Hitler was right. Burn all the books.
Had to get a Hitler mention in. Yeah,
Bigger than Jesus.
the most famous name in the world, as we discussed
That's
previously
right.
on the bill.
Oh, yes, wherever you listen to this podcast. I would agree. I think that it wasn't particularly a terrifying film, but it's good fun to be had by all.
Definitely enjoyable.
Well, thank you for joining me, Tom.
Thank you for joining me.
And thank you for joining us. Please stay tuned for the next episode in a year and a half, something like that, maybe. I don't know. But until then, sleep tight.
This has been a Rich T Entertainment production. If you like this podcast, come and find our other ones on Apple, Google and Spotify.